Okay, welcome everybody to Friday Testimony. This is where we bring you stories from ordinary people who I truly believe are doing extraordinary things. Now, this was one of those ones that wasn't prepared. We wasn't, something that's Rachel last minute. I said, I really believe you've got a great story to share because there is so many people now, unfortunately, who are going through what we're going to deal with today, and that's divorce and separation. And that you can go to some real dark places, and I've known people to go through dark places. But this lady right here, okay, went through the valley and now is back on the mountaintop. Okay, so we're going to share that story. So, Rachel, this is Rachel Small, so thank you once again.
Hi.
Okay, thank you very much. Now, let's start from the beginning then. So, you were originally married, all right? Tell us about that. Tell us about that magical time when you first got married.
Okay, so I met my first husband when I was a student nurse in Birmingham, and we dated for about 3 years. Got married in 1996, a young 23-year-old
Hey, she's giving away her age there.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Thought I knew everything in life. Life was good. I qualified as a nurse. I just started considering my options, going into midwifery, bought my first house.
Wow.
Life was good. Life was really like how I'd been brought up, parents, married, Christian upbringing, and I felt I'd got to the place where, as a child, you'd gone through those dreams and aspirations, and I was there.
You were living like I know we're going to say American, but you were living the American dream, wasn't you?
Yeah.
I had the house, I had the career, I had the husband, and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So obviously you got a child within that. So a beautiful guy called Mr. Man Tom.
Yeah.
All right. So you had this great years. When did it start to fall apart then? That's the bit. So you had this great bubble. When did it start to fall apart?
So as you say, exactly as it was, but it didn't.
Yeah.
To me, it was perfect.
Right. Okay.
Everything was okay. There was the marriage issues, things I'd witnessed as a child with my parents and my grandparents. There'd been redundancies, there'd been bereavements in the family. Life happened in the marriage. But as far as I was concerned, we were good.
Everything was fine.
Everything was good. Yeah. So it was a bombshell.
Wow. So tell us when that bombshell happened. What happened? When was the revelation that this wasn't going to work out? So I call it almost my September the 11th. Oh wow!
Which was the September. It was September the 7th, 2005. It's a date that is always going to be, in my memory. It's not going to go. And yes, it was a husband came home from work early, looking a bit pale. My first reaction was, something's happened at work. He's been sacked.
Oh, wow.
Then I thought, somebody's died and he's come home to tell me face to face. All these things go through your mind. The last thing that was on my mind was what he was about to tell me.
Wow.
And of course, that was that he was leaving. He had met somebody, and he was getting his stuff and he was going.
Wow. Now, as you said, bombshell after bombshell after bombshell. Now, what was the harder? Was it that he didn't want to be with you anymore, or that he met someone else? Did it make it? If he had just said, "Look, I just don't think it's working out between us," and that's it, there's no one else, or would that have been easier, or was it? Or do you think it's hard, or both the same?
I would say that if you're asking me how I was at that time, I would say I couldn't answer that question. I was completely numb, stunned, shocked. My world came crashing down because the guy I was doing life with, that we'd made promises to, was now telling me that not only did he not want to be with me, but he'd found a substitute. And I just couldn't comprehend it, because to me, even the word divorce was such an unnatural word to me. Because
not in my psyche. It's never going to happen to me.
Nobody in my family, which in today's day and age is amazing, but nobody in my family is divorced. Sisters and aunties and everyone, nobody's divorced. So it was just such an unknown area to me.
So when it happened, was it like instant, and did he move out straight away? We don't need total graphic details and stuff.
No, so he went upstairs, packed a bag and walked out the door.
That day?
That day.
Wow.
Yeah, the conversation was about 10 minutes.
Wow.
Yeah.
Now when that happened, so he leaves and it's the night time. Tell us some of the places where you went, because I've met people and they've gone to dark places. And it's totally rocked their world, where they just feel they can't cope, I can't go to work, things like that. So how were you in your what we call it the valley moment? In your valley moment, how were you in that valley moment?
Well, interesting in in my experience,
Yeah.
the valley doesn't necessarily come in that 24 hours.
Yeah.
It comes, you know, weeks and months, and
Right.
for some people years.
Yeah.
I know I'm blessed that I've got a very good family,
Yeah.
so straight on the phone to them in shock.
Yeah.
They come over. I've got some really good friends, and one of my church friends, she came round and she says, look, I'm staying the night, you're not sleeping alone tonight.
Yeah.
Which at the time I didn't think. I was like, well, you don't have to.
I'm fine.
But actually, as I went to sleep that night,
Yeah.
knowing she was in the room next door, just
helped.
knowing my friend was there, just really helped. And it's almost as if like she just took control of that 24 hours and
Yeah.
said, right, because I just felt like I couldn't even tell you if I wanted a cup of tea.
Yeah.
I was
Lost
that.
appetite,
yeah.
lost everything.
Yeah, and so she made decisions for me,
Yeah.
and I know she was doing it in my best interest. So, you know, big shout out to her.
Excellent.
She was amazing.
So in this time, because as you said, you know, some people it takes years. How long did it take for you to work through that process?
A long time.
A long time.
A long time. A long time.
Yeah.
Yeah, a long
Because I think
time.
this is not something that you get over overnight, is it?
No.
You think, wake up
No.
in the head, that's it, I'm fine.
No.
It is a process.
No, and it's a bereavement, but also, you know, that person's still walking around.
Yeah.
You know, and then you've got a child with them, and yeah, that child's 50% of them.
Yeah.
So, you know, as much as you're angry, you've still got this child to raise together.
Yeah.
So it's really, really tough.
So when did it get to a place where, because I know where you are now, okay, which is fantastic. We'll tell everyone about where you are now. But as you were going through that, when did the hope come back then? Because you're in this dark place and you said, someone's ripped my heart out, you know, I still love him, because you do. You
Yeah.
can't switch off of your emotions, I'm
Yeah.
assuming. So you've still got that emotion. When did hope come back that actually, I'm going to be okay? When did you get to that point? You know, so someone's watching this video and they're like, man, I just feel distraught. I don't think I'm ever going to be whole again. I don't think I'll ever get over this. When did you start to feel that? And what happened for you to get to that place?
Okay. Well, you know, if I was doing it in Rachel's strength and I was doing it in a way where you know, I was okay.
Yeah.
That took a long time.
Yeah.
But the journey of getting there was quite awesome.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And if somebody had said that to me in the first week that he left me, I would have just said, you're talking absolute rubbish. You don't know what you're talking about. You know, you're on another planet.
Yeah.
And it's only been on the other side now that I look back and I can appreciate it.
Fantastic.
So for me, it started on the day we split up.
Yeah.
My son had come home from school. He was only 5, and
That's gonna be the hardest thing.
yeah, and he's sitting on my lap, and I was debating, do I tell him, don't I tell him?
Yeah.
But I did shifts, my husband did shifts, so
Yeah.
it was like almost like, well, I don't have to tell him tonight.
Yeah.
So I just enjoyed having a cuddle with him and just sort of sitting there, and you know, I had this what I would call superficial faith, where
Yeah.
I've been brought up as a Christian. I went to church, but I sort of asked God for things when I needed something. You know, like,
We've been there.
yeah.
Yeah.
So, and obviously I'm just sitting there in absolute shock, and my parents are there, and my dad puts his arms around me, and my son, and it's just such a, I don't know, just one of those moments where, you know, you're just grateful you've got your dad, and he's got your back,
Awesome.
and he's there for you. So as I turned around to say, thanks Dad, you know, you got this, he wasn't there, there was no one there.
Wow.
And then I thought, that's weird. And I went into the kitchen and he was at the sink washing up.
Yeah. He was hugging me.
yeah. And I said to him, I said, have you just hugged me? And he was like, no, I think I would have remembered, you know. And that's when I realised I sort of had my first sort of real, tangible spiritual encounter where I realised Father God was holding me and telling me I was okay. So even though Rachel didn't feel okay, I was being told I was okay.
Fantastic.
And I was just holding on to that.
Yeah.
And from then on in, I had just amazing people around me that would send me scriptures, and you'd get the same scripture from different people from different parts of the world, and you're like, okay, this can't be a coincidence. This is, you know.
This is so something's happening here.
And I was given Psalm 91, and I just hung on to its promises.
Okay, so we'll put it at the bottom. Psalm 91. It's a powerful one. Okay,
And just the promise that I was going to be okay, that He was going to sustain me, and you know, cover me with His feathers, and I was going to have a happy long life.
Excellent.
And I didn't believe it, you know, I really, you know, there was that real human doubt, like, oh, you know, am I kidding myself here? But I just kept saying it to myself every day. I changed the words in the passage to she, and I put it up on my wardrobe door, and I just made myself say it every day to myself.
It was like, almost like your mission statement, I'm going to be okay.
Yeah. And then, you know, things like I'd have really good sleep, and sometimes I'd find a feather and I'd think, oh, you know, and realise that I just felt this tangible spirit with me. And then a couple of months down the line, I decided I was feeling really unhappy where I was at the church I was at. And I remember saying to God, okay, well, if this works, you're going to give me signs of where to go. And the next day I get a phone call from a lady that is just awesome, and she just said, look, God's told me you've got to move, you've got to go to this specific church, and you know, there's going to be a course you do, it's going to be life-changing. And I was like, yeah, well, that's probably to do my job, you know. And so I went, you know, said to my son, are you good to do this? And he was good to do it, so we went. Took him to Faith Builders and went into church, and the sermon was on adultery.
Oh wow, okay. This is for me. Right,
To which I sat at the back, trying to hide myself, and cried all the way through the sermon. And one of the leaders, I didn't know he was a leader at the time, but he came up to me and he just said, I can see you're really distressed. Do you want to come out? And I was like, no, I've got to sit here and I've got to suck this up. Because what was being said was hard to hear, but at the same time, I knew I had to. And then as I left church, they gave you a booklet, and in the booklet, third page in, it said, you're going through divorce and separation, and they're running this course. And I was just like, what?
Wow.
This is exactly what this lady said. So. And there was a part of me that didn't want to go on the course. I didn't want to meet other people going through it, because like, I didn't want to be going through a divorce. It wasn't what I wanted. So, you know, I sat with my parents and my sister, and I'd say, you know, should I do this? They're like, look, we feel it's right.
Time to move on.
So this was probably 9 months after the initial breakup. I went on the divorce course, or divorce and separation course.
And then you met.
And the course itself was just phenomenal. I went into that course a bit of an ice maiden. You know, I'm not here to make new friends. I'm not here to definitely meet men, because. And I'm just focusing on me and my son and surviving, really, because that's how really you can sum it up. You're surviving. You're just taking a day at a time. And what I realised on the course was they don't sort your life out for you, but they give you tools. They give you, so that you can sort of start, especially in your mind, where your relationship is, where it's going.
Oh, okay. So, because you've got a couple of tips. Just one, make sure there's good people around you. Okay. 2, then don't be afraid to cry. Okay, and have your moment. But then find people who can support you, not just from a encouragement and love you, but actually guide you through that. So that's what this course did for you. So you started to find that guide. So they took you through that.
And they did.
Steps.
And don't get me wrong. There's sometimes they tell you things that you don't want to hear, because sometimes it's, you know, it's comfortable to wallow. And if somebody wants to get on the bandwagon and have a moan with you, great. But actually, no. You realise that actually that is no good for you.
That's really powerful, that point. And so what you're saying is there is a morning time, but don't surround yourself with people who are going to go, woe is you, woe is you, woe is you. You need people to go, actually, you're going to be fine. And you can get through this.
And also, you know, I was challenged, almost like, well, what do you want to choose to do? Do you want to choose to live in this cycle, or do you want to move on? And if you want to move on,
that's powerful.
Then you've got to make the decision that you want to. And I always, for me, week 4 was the toughest. It was a forgiveness week. And I was being told that I had to forgive. You know, and
that's probably the biggest one for anyone watching this now. How do you forgive someone who's
that was hard? You know, it wasn't just forgiving him. She was my friend, so it was forgiving her. And I left the course sort of 8 weeks later, with a desire to forgive.
Yeah.
I know I hadn't forgiven because I knew it was a process, but I had a desire that I wanted to because I wanted the best for me.
So forgiveness wasn't about them, just on that point, and forgiveness wasn't about them, it was about, I want to now be set free.
Yeah.
And I can only be set free if I forgive them.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah, because it was affecting every area of my life.
Yeah, yeah.
Work, home, every relationship I had with people, everything I did, everywhere I went, it just consumed me.
Yeah, yeah.
And it was like poison.
Awesome. Okay, so you've got to this place now of forgiveness, and you're working through that. You said it's a process, and then you meet someone as we come down. You meet someone.
Yeah.
So when you met Rob, okay, did you have fear of like, this guy could do it again? This guy could hurt me, or did you go in just open and go, actually, it's going to be okay?
I was so scared.
Yeah, yeah.
So scared. You know, I didn't want to meet anybody.
Yeah.
I shook his hand, and there was just this energy there, chemistry, something I'd never had in my first marriage. So I was very much like, what is this?
Yeah, yeah.
And then I fought it.
Yeah.
I was like, no. So when he'd ask to make me a coffee, I can make my own, you know, and it was just this kind of no, yet when he'd walk in the room, he had my attention, and I'd have these conversations with God going, what are you doing, what's happening, you know. So I confided in some friends, prayed about it, and felt, well, actually, if this is what God wants for me, then
let's run with it.
Let's run with it. But also, we had that discussion, the two of us, and he had a mentor and I had a mentor, because we were really both aware that we were both hurt. We'd both been let down, we were both going through a divorce, and the last thing either of us wanted was to hurt each other. And also we had a 5-year-old little boy in our lives.
Brilliant. So you're now at a place, and as we come to the end then, so you decided to get married, okay? Tell us, how long have you been married now then?
9 years.
9 years, okay. And when you look back at this journey, going through divorce, now remarried, and you're super happy with this guy, okay, and we'll show you a picture, it's a beautiful picture of these two, okay. What would you say, you know, going through it, what would be your key learning going through that journey into where you are now?
For me, it's trusting God, it's trusting and holding on to those promises, having those awesome people around you, because there will be the gossips, there will be the people that just want to know your business, but it's keeping focused and listening and having an open heart and not rushing. You know, for us, I remember everybody was so happy for us. It was almost like, oh, you guys are so great together, get married. You know, me and Rob took like 3.5 years to get down the aisle.
Excellent.
You know, in our 30s, and we were being told, why are you hanging around? You're not getting any younger. But we were like, no. You know, and we needed Tom on board. You know, there's no way I was going to bring a guy into the house if my son wasn't okay with it. And you know, it had to be a group thing.
Fantastic. So you are a living embodiment that you can go through the worst of times, and actually through the pain can come some great moments and great joy.
Yeah.
So you're a promise of that. So listen, if you have any questions, okay, you know, hit us up. You know, I'm sure Rachel will be able to, you know, if you're thinking, actually, I'd love to talk to her, because I'm really sensing that someone may want to do that, you know, we can put you in contact and stuff like that. But I really want to say thank you for sharing, because this is, you know, it's not an easy topic to talk about. You're going to be quite open. So we say thank you. So we hope, obviously, that you've seen, if you're going through something today, you've been through separation, you're going through divorce, on the other side, there is joy. There is happiness, okay? And you can get through. Because if Rachel can do it, I'm sure Rachel will say this.
Anyone can do it.
Anyone can do it, all right? Okay, so we wanted to bring you a bonus section. So you've had, obviously, the perspective of someone who's gone through the divorce as an adult. Okay, but what we wanted to do is actually, how does it affect children? And how do they come through it? And what's their opinion? So this is obviously Tom, the son of Rachel, who you heard, who was, I think, 5 years old when it all happened. So what we wanted to do is get his perspective about going through the divorce, how did he cope, and what's his thoughts watching his mum go through that journey, but also himself going through that journey. So literally, this is over to you. So so how was it for you going through that?
Well, the thing with the whole divorce with mum and my dad is that it was such a young age, I didn't really remember most of it. So I remember like key bits
Yeah.
of like mum being upset,
Yeah.
dad going away to this other person,
Yeah.
and it was all confusing for me because
Yeah,
it gets
yeah.
to a point where I'm just like, all right, who's this woman?
Yeah.
Who's this family? Why is my mum all upset? Why is she all
Yeah,
alone?
yeah, yeah.
And yeah, but now I'm at a older stage.
Yeah.
I definitely, like, I'm going to be like the only child
Yeah.
who's been through the family being divorced, but I'm glad they're broken up and they're
Yeah.
not together anymore.
Yeah.
Because my mum and my dad are so much better apart from each other because they're so different people.
Yeah, yeah.
Like,
That's
I feel
powerful.
Like my mum's came out a lot of a show a lot more.
Yeah, yeah.
My dad's found somebody that he's more comfortable with. Mum's found someone he's more comfortable,
Yeah,
she's more
yeah,
comfortable
yeah,
with.
yeah, yeah.
And yeah, it's one of them where even though there's been a lot of pain, like there's been times where I've seen my mum upset,
Yeah,
seen
yeah.
my mum break down and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And having to cope with it as the son,
Yeah.
it's just like it's really a hard thing to see your parents going through it,
Yeah.
especially when the other ones hurt them. And yeah, but obviously I was a young age when
Yeah,
it happened,
yeah,
so
yeah.
I wasn't too sure what was going on. But then obviously the older I've got, the more I've understood.
Fantastic.
And yeah, that's the main
And how did you
thing,
find,
really.
like, you know, you got your mum and you love your mum, and you got your dad and you love your dad, and you don't want to feel like you're taking any sides, because
Yeah.
that's something that can come up as a child.
Yeah,
isn't it?
yeah,
How did you
well,
cope with that? Because that's probably
one of the main things that probably end up coming up,
Yeah.
where like I find like talking to a lot of my friends who
Yeah.
have been divorced, is that you end up having like your mum and your dad end up like trying to say bad things about the other person.
Oh, okay, yeah,
And
yeah.
like you're stuck in the middle, and you don't want to take gospel of what the other person's saying about
Yeah, yeah.
your mum or your dad.
Yeah.
And just the whole like fact that you got to kind of make decisions for yourself, and especially at a young age.
Yeah.
I was definitely like, all right, why is dad saying this?
Yeah.
My mum's saying stuff like this. All right, I don't know what
Yeah,
I'm thinking
yeah,
right
yeah,
now.
yeah, yeah.
So the older I got, the more I managed to make my own opinion on stuff.
Yeah.
But it kind of like has to kick in quickly.
Yeah.
And one of the things, like if you're a kid who's been through divorce, is that you just need people just need to be upfront with you, and then need to like say take stuff away
Yeah.
away from you that you don't really need to know at that time.
Oh,
and
okay,
then
yeah,
Find out for yourself.
Yeah, so there's only basic things that you need to know.
Yeah, like there's stuff that I don't need to know about my mum, there's
Yeah,
stuff
yeah,
I don't
yeah.
need to know about my dad.
Yeah, yeah,
and hearing it from the parents, it's just I don't really need that, do
Yeah.
I?
That's really good advice.
Yeah. So, because any kid that you end up, if you've been through divorce
Yeah.
and stuff, will end up saying that their parents would end up saying something about the mum or the dad,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
they just can't be bothered for it.
Yeah.
And I got to points like that, but then with me, I easily ignore it at times.
Yeah.
Sometimes it gets a bit too much, but then times I'm just like, yeah, I ignore it.
Excellent.
Yeah.
So what if there was one tip then that we're going to leave for a young person who's watching this video, what would be that one thing, as you talked about coping through, what would be that one bit of advice that you'd say to a young person who's going through this right now?
You're gonna wanna keep everything to yourself, and you're gonna wanna be quiet about everything, but don't like talk to somebody about it,
Yeah.
even if you don't want to talk to one of your parents.
Yeah.
Because I was at a young age and I was at school, so I didn't feel comfortable talking to teachers. But
Yeah.
if you talk to a teacher, like they'll be able to help you, but just get it out of your system, because if you keep it in, it'll just
Yeah.
build up, and it's not healthy for yourself, and it's not going to be healthy for your relationship with
Come
your
on, man.
parents.
Yeah.
Because if you end up getting these two different opinions and two different sides,
Yeah.
or this built up like anger or upset or anything,
Yeah.
then it's just not going to be good for yourself. It's not going to be good for your relationship.
Wow.
And then when you get older, you're not going to be able to have a pure relationship
Yeah.
with your parents as much.
So just be totally open,
Yeah,
get
totally
it out of there.
open. And just like a tip for like parents
Yeah.
and stuff, address the situation as soon as.
Yeah, yeah.
Because obviously I was a young age, but I felt like it was addressed quickly what was
Yeah.
going on. And like, especially if you're at my age,
Yeah.
where if it's going on, you're not going to know what's going on.
Yeah.
So just address it as soon as. If someone's at a more age where it's like in the teens, address it straight away, because
Yeah.
it's just like the period where they're going to be like, why is my parents like this? Why are
Yeah.
they broken up? And they're just going to feel really down, because even though in divorce you get the whole like you get the husband and the wife,
Yeah.
but not a lot of people think of the kids sometimes.
Yeah,
And
they're the
kids
ones that
always-
overlooked.
Yeah, the kids are always just like, oh wait, no, the kid, but it's like this whole divorce thing can
Yeah.
always affect that kid massively.
Wow.
Because these are our parents.
Yeah.
So.
Great tip. And I really say thank you for that, because, seriously, to be open about that, we never hear children talking about it, but it affects like 50% of marriages that happen right now, so really thank you for that. You're awesome. You're awesome. All right, so thank you again. Hopefully you really like the bonus section, and please share this. You will know someone who's going through this right now, and you're like, how do I comfort them? This video could be the way. God bless you. See you soon.